Now, this is for the high risk businesses, the people or the businesses who get debanked regularly. Maybe you're a crypto operator, maybe you're an iGaming, online casino, a forex broker, perhaps even the adult world. And the banks hate you, the banks debank you all of the time. Maybe your personal account, more likely the business account. And in this video, I'm going to tell you why that happens, but more importantly, I'm going to go through the solutions that you can do with our help or even by yourself maybe to get you out of this mess so you can scale globally. Because the biggest problem within these industries is that it is so lucrative, it is easy to scale globally, but the banks and the governments and the regulations and all the compliance try to strangle you before you can even swim. But once you're swimming, you can go global, you can go across the whole world and make multi-millions. But it is so important to do this correct, otherwise you're going to be stuck. So our company handles all of this. We do a wide range of services regarding everything, sovereign, global payments, offshore trusts, wealth protection, all of that good stuff. So high risk banking, right? You need to unlock global payments because if you can scale easy. But the problem is that the banks hate you and that you are in a misunderstood sector. So let's go over this because I know you have problems and it needs to be addressed quickly. So you have a legitimate regulated business, but the banks hate you, right? Crypto, iGaming, forex, maybe adult, maybe something else. The banks deem high risk, right? Maybe you have an entertainment brand or whatever, a streamer, I don't know. I don't care, right? But if you're processing millions and you understand that you are in a high risk situation, this video is for you. Okay, quickly, I just have to plug this in. When it comes to your licensing, your payment providers and all of that, we can do this for you. So if you don't want to waste time, 10-15 minutes, just go and check the email below and let's get it sorted quick. So the banks are rejecting your application or they might approve it, only to freeze it and shut it later, right? This is a pain in the fucking ass, it's annoying. Your payment processor imposes rolling reserves or hefty fees, slowing down the customer onboarding, the vendor payments and the scaling of your operation, which is the main problem. So over time, this gets worse. The cash flow that freezes, it stalls your product launches, you cannot pay your employees properly, you have people wanting refunds or whatever and you cannot handle it. Mounting transactions cost is a nightmare. Frequent rejections is going to damage your credibility, maybe your investors or your partners, the insurers, the regulators. Most importantly, the amount of time it takes from you that you should be spent on scaling the business going higher, right? It takes weeks and months, it's just bullshit. So again, you know the business is good because in these sectors, the money is like you go from zero, boom, right? But the banks still see you as high risk. So especially if you're operating in really regulated zones like some parts of Europe, America, England, right? Obviously, we have some parts of Europe like Malta, Estonia, Lithuania, which is really good, and we'll go into that later. So quickly, why this happens in a global context? High risk labeling. Like I already said, certain sectors are labeled high risk. Maybe that's you, that's why you're watching this video. Fraud, chargeback, money laundering, reputational concerns, right? This is when the operations are compliant. The banks still don't like you and they still refuse because they're stuck in traditional ways, which is why EMIs and different kind of payment processes are on the rise. And of course, regulatory pressures are increasing all of the time worldwide, which actually helps a business like us, but it's not good for your businesses, right? Because we do a heavy compliance checking, we make sure everything is done legally and by the book, but also making sure you reduce your taxes in a compliant way. This is creating many barriers and it's already marginalizing many sectors. What happens is that debanking becomes the default option, right? They're debanking you with no transparency, they're not letting you know what happens and it's leaving people very stressed out and they don't know where they're to stand. But now, in a situation like this, right, it is very sensitive because perhaps your business is losing reputation, perhaps you're losing millions, perhaps you're losing months of your time. So let's go through the solutions to make sure you don't have to go through this nightmare. Structural and compliant foundations. Structure and compliance foundations, right? You want to be licensing in credible jurisdictions. Holding a license, it might be an MICA aligned crypto, or it might be an MICA aligned crypto authorization. It might be an MGA for gaming, or a VARA in the UAE if you're involved in crypto. This tells the banks that you're governed, audited, and trustworthy. Entity structuring that works. Companies, if you're based in Malta, Cyprus, Dubai, free zones, or a reputable offshore center, this is going to help you achieve smoother banking when it's structured properly, right? On top of this, you would need a turnkey compliance kit for very fast approval, something that we do for you. Pre-packaged documentation, KYC, AML files, UBO disclosures, audited records is essential, and obviously more information about you and your business. Banking and merchant account execution, right? You want to secure high-risk merchant accounts. These accounts are costly and scrutinized, but they're very good, especially for card acceptance in high-risk industries. Now, unless you are in a very bad situation, right, and basically no one in the world wants to touch you, we can get you sorted with cards, with banking, with payment processes. But you need to DM me below, check out the email, and we can sort out what we can do in the fastest amount of time. When it comes to banking, you want to bundle the services on top of each other. Combine the banking accounts, the merchant processing, and the licensing all under one provider. It's going to really reduce the friction and accelerate your setup and your scale. So let's start with payment orchestration. If you're distributing transactions across multiple gateways and processes, this will ensure higher approval and resilience against shutdowns in the future. Now, you also want to do advanced fraud and AML monitoring. Deploy AI-driven analytics, real-time transaction screening, and behavioral anomaly detection to protect fraud and preserve banking relationships. Even more due diligence. You want enhanced due diligence, full risk scale sanction screening, source of wealth validation, transaction history. Audits build trust with banks, and once that trust is built, it is a little bit harder to break. Regulatory alignment and future proofing. With all of the laws regarding the MICA, the DORA and travel rule, you want to stay ahead of everything. Proactive alignment with emerging rules ensures that you get continued access and reduce risk of failure with banking in the future. Now, as you might be realizing, which you probably know already, that your wealth is not fully guaranteed to be protected. All of this should be a big flashing light in your life. So you should also consider extra layers, right, to protect your wealth. Your asset protection structures, something like the Cook's Island or Ring Fence Shield, something like this to protect your wealth in the future and also protect your different sources of incomes. Because it's not just your business that can be deemed high risk. Maybe if you get a law audit one day, someone's coming after you, maybe it's an investor, maybe it's an ex-partner, an ex-employee, maybe it's even a divorce breakup, right? You want to make sure that your wealth is protected, your business is protected, your estate is protected. So if you're not currently happy with your current bank and your setup, just again, email below, let's do everything. So what our company can do for you, we provide a end-to-end platform tailored for high-risk businesses. Now again, we have over 200 banking partners in more than 60 jurisdictions, right? This is rivaling companies, fintech companies like Wise. We have more partners globally than Wise, for example. So among all of our partners, we are only going to approach banks and processes suited to your individual sector. If this is going to save you a lot of time and reduce rejection. Probably save you a little bit of money as well. Some options might be more, but it's going to be worth the headache saved. Complete compliance and licensing services, right? Everything we do is with compliance, don't worry. We are 100% on the legal side, from entity formations to KYC and AML bundles, all built for approval. The bank and the merchant deployments, right? The high-risk enabled accounts structured for reliability. Now, when it comes to the payment stack, AI fraud detection, real-time monitoring, ISO, readiness included, right? Even some of the things that I'm not completely privy up to, I know that our company does it because I get this information real-time. When it comes to regulations, we're going to be ready. We're aligned with the MICA, the DORA, the travel rule, the DAC8. All of it is good. Wealth asset security add-ons. Optional trust formation and protection for structuring your long-term resilience, your partners, and your assets, right? It should come to no surprise to you as Europe and other countries are increasing their regulations. Maybe one day that money you have in the bank or your assets or your wealth, your estate structuring, it's not going to be safe. So consider a trust formation. I have another video on that. It's going to save you a lot of headache down the line. It might even save you millions of dollars. Now, we've empowered many entities from crypto exchanges to iGaming firms to forex brokers, all of this stuff, even other fintechs, so they scale globally with compliance. What we're going to do, our company, we're going to open the doors for you, banking and payments designed for your reality, not by chance, but by design. So contact me to secure compliant, reliable infrastructure and protect everything that you have built for. And protect everything you worked so hard to build, right? Because again, in these industries, you can scale like this. But it's going to be the banking, it's going to be the regulations that are going to try to strangle you down before you even get up. Stop what you're doing and listen to me now. We have created a private network group called Alavia for digital nomads, for high-level entrepreneurs and very connected individuals around the world to help achieve individual sovereignty, banking partners, expertise, and many more ultra high net worth and high net worth services and solutions that you absolutely need. Being in the room with millionaires and billionaires and the people who are going to be changing this world over the next 1 or 2 decades. If you want to get in and you want early access, DM me below.